Hey everybody, Rob Maurer here. Happy Friday. Today we're going to be talking about some exciting updates on the Cybertruck from Elon Musk. We've also got a little bit of news on the FSD Beta, a Tesla app update, a recall for the Model Y in China, some news on Tesla Energy, casting, and a couple other things as well. And then last night we did get more Form 4s for Elon Musk's stock sale, so we'll catch up with that. Looking at the stock, maybe some would prefer that we didn't do that today, but tougher day, Tesla finishing down 6.4% to $1,014.97. The NASDAQ was down 1.9%, and we can see how growth stocks fared today versus value. Generally, the Dow was only down 0.2%. So in general today, more growth-oriented stocks getting hit harder, and EV companies as well. NIO was down 11% today, XPeng down 9%, Fisker down 7%, Rivian down 5.5%, Lucid a little bit better at down 2.5%, but pretty much just a tough day across the board. I doubt there was really anything too much Tesla-specific today. We'll see if Elon continued selling. If so, that could have exacerbated some of the macro movement that we had today. As I mentioned last night, we did get more Form 4s disclosing further selling of Tesla stock from Elon Musk. These disclosed sales from the same day, so Thursday, December 2nd. And just like the last few rounds we have seen, this was a pre-planned sale paired with exercising a portion of his 2012 CEO Performance Award. So just like we have seen before, about 2.1 million shares exercised and acquired, and then 934,000 sold to cover the tax bill on that exercise. So total now, Elon has sold just over 10 million shares. If we assume his 10% target is 17 million shares, he would be 59% of the way through. If it is higher and includes some of his vested but not yet exercised shares, then it could be as low as 40%. So somewhere between 7 and 15 million shares yet to go. And looking at the 2012 Performance Award, there's about 12 million there that have not been exercised yet. And if he keeps the same exercise to sales ratio on those lots, about 5.5 million more shares should be sold as a part of those transactions as those are exercised. If Elon keeps doing that, about 2 million shares at a time, that would give us about 6 instances of that left. Seems like the plan has kind of been to do that once or twice a week, so I would imagine that we've got, 3 to 6 weeks left, but only about 4 weeks left in the year. I would imagine they all get wrapped up by then. One last note on this is that with this last lot of exercise and then tax covering sales, Elon so far has actually moved into a net addition in terms of his share count. It's actually increased now by about 500,000 shares. Not as much as it would have if Elon was just selling what was required for tax purposes, but still has increased nonetheless. All right, so let's get into these Cybertruck updates. We've got a handful of these from Elon today. First of which he says that, quote, initial production will be 4-motor variant with independent ultra-fast response torque control of each wheel, end quote. Okay, so Tesla initially unveiled the single motor, dual motor, and tri-motor Cybertrucks. Now we have the quad motor Cybertruck. What that means for those other versions, we don't yet know, but Elon today, again in context of this conversation, reiterated that there would be a product roadmap update on the Q4 earnings call. Elon was asked if those with tri-motor or maybe even all reservations would be able to upgrade to the quad motor, and though it was a bit ambiguous in terms of what specifically is being asked in the question, Elon did say yes. So we don't really know if he means tri-motor or all, but at least to some extent there will be an opportunity to upgrade. No surprise on that. This should give Tesla a good reason to initially start with a much higher price than what the Cybertruck was unveiled with, which remember originally was $69,900 for the tri-motor, which in the context of where the market has gone since the Cybertruck unveiling, plus given the amount of interest in the Cybertruck and Teslas in general, that price and the other prices seem low across the board, and Tesla isn't actually locked into those prices. They did say they'd lock in the FSD option price, but the order agreement definitely still gives flexibility on that base price, but probably wouldn't be the best look to all of a sudden start charging $100,000 for a tri-motor that you originally promised at $70,000, but if you introduce a quad motor, well, something like that is back on the table. So maybe not the most exciting news there for customers that were excited about those prices, but I think from a sheer product perspective and certainly from an investor perspective, the quad motor Cybertruck adds a new level of excitement for sure. How exciting I think will be determined on what specs Tesla is able to pull off and how those compare to what they originally listed for the tri-motor. At a minimum, I'm sure we'll see a higher price, and that should help Tesla as they ramp the Cybertruck, which it's really going to involve a lot of new technology, so getting that ramped up could be a lengthy and expensive process. Hopefully not, but the potential is there, and a higher initial price will definitely help offset that. As for that technology, Elon excited about this again today, putting in quotes, insane technology bandwagon on Twitter. And he did confirm, like we have heard rumored, that the Cybertruck will have both front and rear wheel steering, so it would be able to do sort of the crab walk maneuver that we've seen demonstrated on vehicles like the Hummer. Anyway, nice to see Elon talking quite a bit more about the Cybertruck recently. I know that's created a lot of speculation with the December 9th stuff. Maybe there's a final reveal of the product then. I don't think that makes much sense with Elon continuing to talk about the product roadmap update on the next earnings call. So we'll see, but I think that earnings call is probably our earliest hope at something like that. Elon today also did give us an update on FSD Beta 10.6, Tesla under Silicon Valley asking if that was coming soon, Elon saying yes, and quote, "It releases internally today, then rolls out to external beta in a few days if no significant issues are found," end quote. So it looks like best case is probably early next week, and that could end up being exactly 2 weeks from the release of 10.5. All right, next here we've got another Tesla mobile app update. Tesla app updates on Twitter went through this. This is for version 4.3.1, and they have found that Tesla has added code to handle vehicle sharing from within the app. So right now on Tesla's website, you can go in and you can actually add a driver. Looks like they would be implementing that functionality directly into the app. For example, a couple of lines of code here, say share access to your Tesla vehicle, add up to 5 drivers, and I'm sharing my Tesla with you, tap link to accept, just to kind of help understand what this will allow for. So I don't think this really adds any new features at this point, but just kind of integrates things into the mobile app. But obviously still nice to see, and it looks like Tesla is putting a lot of focus on that app right now. All right, next up we've got news on a pretty decent sized recall for Tesla in China. This is for about 21,500 Model Ys produced between February and October this year. Basically there's a steering knuckle on those vehicles that may cause some problems and therefore need to be checked and potentially replaced. So no over-the-air fix on this one, but obviously Tesla will get that taken care of, and 20,000 vehicles sounds like a lot, but relative to Tesla's production, I mean, that's only about 5% of what Tesla has produced in Shanghai so far this year, so really shouldn't be too big of a deal. Next, we've got a bit of an update on Tesla Energy. This was shared out on Twitter by Sawyer Merritt, a photo of Giga Nevada earlier this week showing about 240 megapacks, or at least what are presumed to be megapacks, that to me look like they are in packaging and they are somewhat askew if you look at them closely. So seemingly just getting ready to be shipped. I'm not sure why they would keep so many there at one point in time, but if that is the case, then that would be almost 3/4 of a gigawatt hour of Tesla Energy just kind of sitting there in the parking lot at Giga Nevada. That'd be about half of what I think people are probably expecting Tesla to install throughout the whole quarter. We'll have to keep an eye out then and see if we see any more photos of Giga Nevada with those megapacks no longer in that area. All right, next up here, we've got a little bit more insight into Tesla's supply chain, specifically in relation to casting. Of course, we know Tesla uses Hydra Giga Presses. We've talked a lot about that, but as a part of that casting process, Tesla needs to cast it into something, so that involves dies. And it looks like Tesla is getting those dies from a Canadian company called Exco. My understanding is that technically this would be called shot end tooling. So their CEO was talking about one of their divisions on their earnings call this morning, and he said that it is, quote, already the primary supplier of all shot end tooling for Tesla's Giga Presses globally, end quote. Personally, I'm not a huge track the supply chain type of person, but I know people often find these interesting. And just for context, it looks like Exco is a pretty small company. It looks like they've got a market cap around $280 million US. So not really the type of company I invest in. I don't have a position, don't plan to make a position, but could be interesting to follow if they do have a relatively close supplying relationship with Tesla. And that does seem to be the case. All right, last up for today. I haven't been able to personally verify this, but there has been a report on the Ford F-150 forums that during a webinar yesterday, Ford announced a new timeline for the Ford F-150 Lightning. It's a bit delayed from previously. Apparently June is the targeted production start and September targeted for first deliveries of the F-150 Lightning. So we'll obviously have to wait for some corroboration of that, but to me, the likelihood is that this is correct. And if so, this would be somewhere in the 4 to 6 month delay range. All right, so that is it for today and for the week then. I hope everybody has a phenomenal weekend. If you're not subscribed yet, what are you doing? Make sure you're subscribed and sign up for notifications. You can also find me on Twitter at Tesla Podcast. And we'll see you on Monday for the December 6th episode of Tesla Daily. Thank you.